this is Mr. Ellis again. I'm doing another video for the study guide AP Computer Science A. We're going to talk today about arrays and array processing. We had this lecture during class a couple of days ago, so it should be fresh in your memory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a class called Array Processing and demo the declaration and initialization of arrays. Okay. Man, that took a little while to type that out. The declaration of an array is specifying the type of an array it's going to be, and all it does is say I need an integer array, and it's going to be single dimensions, and I want to call it counting. Okay, now that doesn't tell it how many elements to reserve. It just simply says I'm going to cut out an integer array space. Assigning the space is done through initialization, and it is usually done with a new keyword because an array is an object. Integer array of 10. Okay, specify how many elements are going to be in my array with that initialization. There are different ways to initialize this array. I can do it with single assignments to each element. Arrays are indexed from 0 through, and when I pick 10, I'm going from 0 to 9, which means I have 10 elements. That can be a confusing activity, the indexing of an array. So in order not to go out of bounds, always remember you want to be less than or equal to 1 less than the number of elements, because the 0 is taking up a position. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 10 elements. Okay, so here I've initialized the first 2 elements of my array, the 0 index and the 1 index. Okay, I've placed integer values. It's an integer array. So I've placed integer values in the array. I could assign values fast by using a for loop. The for loop that we are familiar with is the for int, and it's an integer assignment or a creation or a declaration of a variable. Int x equals. Now, if I was going to start from the beginning, I would have put 0 here and go to 9. But since I've done the first 2, I'm going to go to 2 and then go from 2 to 9. Okay. And what that does is it takes the value of x and places it in count. It says, I want count 2 to receive 2. I want count 3 to receive 3. I want count 9 to have 9. Okay. Okay, continuing, I could have initialized the loop with a instantiation initialization. When I declared the variable and said I want an integer array counting, I could have said I want the elements to be this by using the curly brackets and the number. Now, the compiler knows, or interpreter in this case, knows that it will create an array with these values, but it says I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elements, and I will place these 10 values in those elements. Okay. But since I initialized it this way, I can bump through an array with a for each loop. We talked about this in class last time. The for each loop is not controlled. I can't start it where I want to start it. I can only go each element in an array is accessed in turn, and then the value is examined or used in this case. Okay, so I'm going to say for an integer value, a declaration, and then the name of the array. And so what it does is it says, hey, I have an integer value inside here. I'm going to assign that to y, and then when you want to print out y, for this in this case, print it out, then you will go and put it in a system.out.println or print. Okay, So I'm going to print an inline, put a little space behind it, and then we'll see what's in the array. So I'm going to run this. And it runs, and it says that 10 and 25, remember the first two were assigned outside of the loop, and then I started at 2, and it bumped through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 until the 9th, and this output came after the loop. So the output from the loop is displayed, and all the elements are accessed using the for each loop. When you need a two-dimensional array, Java can create two-dimensional arrays in the same fashion as it does the single-dimensional arrays, except for it uses the 2 square brackets, meaning I have 2 dimensions. This requests space for 2 dimensions. This specifies the row and number of columns. Now, the best way to show this is with an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, a single array is reserved space in a single row. I had 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elements. Or for that matter, it is 10 elements, but it would be, the index would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now with a two-dimensional array, it says I want a number of rows. I had what? 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 columns. 1. If I can get it to go there. Let's do it like this. Let's say there's 5, and then 1, 2, 3 columns. So I would reserve a block of space such as this in storage, and the values would be placed in here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, I have 4 instead of 3. But it would say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for 5 rows and 3 columns. So what are we going to do with this guy? Well, let's initialize him first. Remember that you always have, when we're doing an array, it is 0-based indexing. So instead of 1 to 5, we go from 0 to 4, okay, for our first index. And for our second, we go from 0 to 2, because it's, instead of 1 to 3, it's 0 to 2. Okay. And each time through the loop, we're going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to initialize those values, what I put in there, x times y, or in the first one, it's going to look weird. It's going to go 0 times 0, and then it comes back, and it goes 1 times 0, 1 times 1, 2, 3, okay? It's going to look weird when I print this out, but it is another way to initialize an array, in this case, a two-dimensional array. Let me save. Oh, I have a problem somewhere. What did I do wrong? Int, num, int. I don't see it anywhere in here. It's probably up here. I tried to comment out everything, and it looks like I have a problem, but it doesn't say where. Open. I don't have a closing semicolon here for my opening for loop. I'm going to put a closing semicolon in there and save it. And did it go away? Yes, it did. See how eagle-eye that is? It can be one character. You have to have eagle eyes. So I'm going to run this and print out the resulting initialization. And as you can see, I didn't hit print, but when I go through, I print line. And it is 0, 0, 0, because the first time through, I'm going 0. I'm going 0 times anything is 0, right? And the second time through, it's 1. 1 times 0 is 0. And then 1 times 2, 1 times 3, okay, and so forth. This has been not loop structures, but array processing for the AP Computer Science A study guide. Thank you for your attendance.